What happened when I stopped eating sugar and dairy? It started quietly. No warning, no big moment, no dramatic turning point. Just a feeling. Something wasn't right. I was tired. Not the normal kind of tired that goes away after a good night's sleep, but a deep, heavy exhaustion that stayed with me all day. I would wake up already feeling drained. My body felt slow. My mind felt foggy. And no matter how much I ate, I never felt satisfied. At first, I ignored it. I told myself, maybe I just need more rest. Maybe I'm just stressed. Maybe this is normal. But deep down, I knew something was off. Every day followed the same pattern. Wake up tired, drink tea with sugar, eat something sweet, feel a small burst of energy, and then crash. Again and again. It was like my body was stuck in a loop, and I didn't even realize it. Then one day, I looked in the mirror, and I paused. My face looked swollen, my skin looked dull, my eyes looked tired, and my stomach always bloated, no matter what I ate. That's when a question hit me. Why do I feel worse every single day instead of better? I started paying attention, not to workouts, not to calories, but to what I was eating, and two things stood out immediately: sugar and dairy. Sugar was everywhere, in my tea, in snacks, in desserts, even in foods I thought were healthy. And dairy, milk, cheese, yogurt, butter. It was a part of almost every meal. I had always believed these were normal, harmless, even necessary. But what if they weren't? So I made a decision, not forever, not extreme, just an experiment. 30 days, no sugar, no dairy. I didn't know what to expect. I thought maybe I'd feel a little better, maybe lose a bit of weight. But what actually happened was completely unexpected. Day 1. Day 1 felt easy. I was motivated, focused, excited. I thought, this is going to be simple. Day 2. Then things started to change. A slight headache, nothing major, but noticeable. Day 3. That's when it hit. Cravings, strong ones. Suddenly I wanted sugar more than ever. Tea didn't feel right without it. Food felt incomplete. I felt irritated, restless, almost uncomfortable. And that's when I realized something important. This wasn't just food. This was dependence. Sugar isn't just sweet. It affects your brain. It creates a reward response, a cycle. The more you eat, the more you want. And when you stop, your body reacts. By day 4, I started questioning myself. Why am I doing this? Is this even worth it? Everything felt harder. My mood was off. My energy was low. And dairy? I missed it more than I expected. Tea without milk tasted strange. Meals without cheese felt empty. It felt like something was missing. But I kept going, because deep down, I wanted to see what would happen if I didn't quit. Day 5 to 6, something began to shift. Slowly, subtly, but noticeably. My bloating started reducing. That constant heaviness in my stomach was fading. For the first time in a long time, I felt lighter. Not perfectly flat, not transformed, but different, better. And that small change gave me hope. End of week 1. The cravings were still there, but weaker. My body was still adjusting, but improving. And that's when I realized, maybe, just maybe, this was working. Week 2. Week 2 changed everything. The cravings, they started disappearing. Not completely, but enough to notice. I wasn't constantly thinking about sugar anymore. I wasn't reaching for snacks out of habit. I started eating only when I was actually hungry. And then something powerful happened. My energy stabilized. No more extreme highs and lows. No more sudden crashes. No more needing tea every few hours just to function. For the first time in a long time, I felt steady. I could focus better, think clearly, stay productive. And that's when I understood something important. Sugar wasn't giving me energy, it was taking it away. Every spike came with a crash, and I had been living in that cycle for years. Without it, my body finally found balance. What was happening inside? When you remove sugar, your insulin levels stabilize. Your body stops constantly storing fat and starts accessing it for energy. Inflammation begins to reduce. Your digestion improves. Your system starts repairing itself. And dairy? For many people, it can trigger bloating, hormonal imbalances, skin issues. Removing both gives your body a break, a reset. Day 14, 2 weeks in, I noticed something shocking. My skin. It looked clearer, brighter, healthier. No new breakouts, less oiliness, more glow. And I hadn't changed any skincare products, just food. That's when it really hit me. What you eat shows on your face. Confidence shift. I started looking at myself differently, not with criticism, but curiosity. Is that really me? My face looked less puffy, my eyes looked more awake, my body felt lighter, and slowly my confidence started returning. Mental changes, but the biggest shift was in my mind. The brain fog disappeared. I could think faster, focus longer, remember things better. Even my mood improved. I felt calmer, more in control. Before, food controlled me. Now, I controlled food. I stopped emotional eating. I stopped eating out of boredom. I started asking, am I actually hungry or just used to eating? Week 3. By week 3, this wasn't a challenge anymore. It was my lifestyle. And that's when the visible transformation began. My clothes felt looser. My face looked slimmer. My body felt lighter. The scale started moving, slowly, consistently. And the best part? I wasn't starving. Fat loss phase. At the start, most people lose water weight. But by week 3, fat loss begins, because your body switches from burning sugar to burning fat. And once that switch happens, everything changes. Hormone balance. Another thing I noticed was balance. Less mood swings, less fatigue, more stability. Sugar and dairy can affect hormones like insulin, estrogen, cortisol. When I removed them, my body felt aligned. The biggest surprise. The biggest shock? I didn't miss sugar anymore, at all. In fact, when I tried something sweet later, it tasted too sweet. That's when I realized my taste buds had reset. My body no longer needed it. Lessons I learned. Lesson 1. Cravings are not permanent. They are trained, and they can be untrained. Lesson 2. Most hunger is not real hunger. It's boredom, habit, emotion. Lesson 3. Food is powerful. It can heal you or slowly damage you. Reality check. Now let's be clear. This doesn't mean sugar and dairy are evil. It means too much of them is. Balance is key, but most people are not in balance. Day 30, final result. After 30 days, everything changed. Less bloating, better skin, more energy, weight loss, mental clarity. But the biggest change, control. I was no longer controlled by cravings. I was no longer dependent on food for comfort. I felt free. Final question. So now I'll ask you something simple. What would happen if you tried this for just 7 days? No sugar, no dairy. Would your body resist, or would it thank you? Because the truth is, you don't really know until you try.